Hey, welcome to Tabletop Skirmish Games. I'm Lee, and in this video I'll be unboxing the Queen of the Desert. It's the A12 Matilda 2 Infantry tank. Here we go then, it's the A12 Matilda 2, and a massive thank you to Warlord Games for sending this out for me to share with you. In the video we're going to go through all the contents. You'll have a good close-up look at everything, and then I'll build the tank so you can see all assembled, and we'll measure it up too. So first up, nice image on the cover, really setting the scene and featuring this in the desert. As we look around the box, you can see some other tanks you might like to add to the collection, and I'll be unboxing the Panzer IV very soon. And then you can see here on the side, it tells you what most suitable periods of World War II this is going to be for, early and mid in this case, and also who fielded the tank, so Great Britain and Soviet Union. I'll be assembling my tank using the instructions for the Western Desert. And although that's the image depicted on the front, you'll have the option to build this as the tank they used in the Soviet Union and also as part of the British Expeditionary Force. So there's three different types that you can assemble the tank as. There's a little bit of background info there, and you're also going to get the damage markers, construction leaflet, decal slides and the stat card as well, and some nice imagery there to give you some inspiration when you begin painting your models. Right, let's get this open and we can have a good look at everything that's included. I've really been looking forward to getting this box open and building this model, and this is going to be a great way to accompany and grow your army that came in the Gentleman's War starter set that I did an unboxing for previously. If you haven't seen that yet, I'll link to it at the end of this video. I'll be adding this Matilda to my 8th Army British Force, and then I'm also going to be using the Panzer IV that I'll be unboxing later on, probably next week, and that will be going for the German part of the Gentleman's War box set. But here you can see all the contents that's included, and I think we'll have a look at the instruction book first, then go through all the components, then have a look at the sprues themselves in detail. Here we go then, here's our little A5 booklet. You get a bit of information here about how many of the tanks were produced, the crew, and some details about range, top speed, that kind of thing. And then a little bit of background about the tank itself. And I've been watching some YouTube videos on the Matilda tank as I was building this, which is awesome. That's a great thing to do, I think, when you're building your model. Stick on something, learn about the model you're building. Really good fun. And then here you've got all the different components laid out and then the instructions on how to build. Now on the sprue, they aren't numbered, so you'll find when you see the sprues there's no number for each component, so you are flicking back and forth in the book a fair bit, but once you get used to it it's pretty straightforward and pretty obvious which parts are going to be used. You'll have some spare pieces that I'll show you at the end, but at the back of the book here it's got a really nice paint guide, and I used this when I was building it to make sure I was putting the pieces in the right place as well, so nice to have those different angles. There we go then, that's our instruction booklet. Now let's have a look at these. And these are weapon damage markers, so we'll get them out and I'll show you the idea behind them. I thought you might put the three together when I first got them, but the idea is, looking at the pictures, that you would have like one of each set, so one of each colour if you like. So this one would be one, and you just stick that to the base, and that's like the flames coming out of the vehicle, and then you've got the two different coloured smokes as well. Then you get this little bag which will have the vehicle card in there. You always get a little slip that tells you who packed it. So a big thanks to Maria for preparing the Matilda 2. And then here we've got our card which shows you the different points values. So inexperienced, regular and veteran. Getting a nice image there to have a look at. Probably a bit small if you want to paint it. Tells you at the top early, mid and late war. Bit different to the box that. And then here you've got your tracked vehicle. Any special rules. So this one's going to be slow. And that means the advance and run move will be reduced. Then you've got your options here. You can go with the 3-inch light howitzer if you want to, and that's something I'll be putting on. That sounds pretty good. And then your weapons on the back there too. Then you've got a neat little decal sheet, very nicely detailed. It looks like you've got some of the Russian text in there as well. So if you wanted to build it as the Russian tank, then you can certainly do that and use it for the Eastern Front. So there you go. There's a few options, and nice to get those included in the decals. Now what I do with these cards when I get them is I grab my Dragon Shield Clear Plastic card protectors, and these are 63 by 88 millimeters. These are perfect for putting these cards in. A little bit of a tight fit, but once they're in, they're going to be well protected now, and so they're going to be getting a fair bit of use. So it's definitely worth investing in these cards. They're really cheap, they don't cost much at all, and it looks after all your cards, and I found all the vehicles I've had so far fit in these. So there we go. Right, now we can have a look at the sprues. So let's get these out of the little bag here, and all together you're going to get 2 of the bigger size sprues and then 1 smaller one there, and we'll get some close-up shots so you can see the quality here. And for me, this is the first tank that I've built from Warlord Games. I did get those vehicles in a Gentleman's War, and so they were fun to put together, but this looks really good. You can see here, you got all the tracks, and it looks great, really well detailed, very crisp. Not an awful lot to do in the way of cleanup there, so that's going to be pretty quick to get that ready. And on here you've got 2 options for the Matilda's running gear. It can be raised or lowered, so depending which era you're going for, that will depend on which ones you use. And that means you'll have a couple spare, which could be great to use in some terrain builds maybe, so you can add that into your scenery in the background, cover it up with some sand, maybe a wrecked vehicle, that kind of thing. You're also going to find there's going to be some parts of a turret left over as well. Here we've got the main sections of the tank and the turret sections. So there's 2 different turrets that you could build with this, and you've got the driver and you've also got the commander there. And I'm going to put those on, I think. I like to have them coming out. It adds a bit more character to it. And I was watching a lot of the YouTube videos that were showing some of the original footage and looking back at photos as well of it in the desert. And quite often you would see the commander and the driver as well. So I'm going to go with that and put them in the build. Watching those videos, I was surprised at just how small these tanks actually were as well. And this is only an infantry tank, so it's more designed to support the infantry and give them a little bit of backup there in case there's any other tanks on the field. But yeah, a lot smaller than I imagined, so that's been quite interesting to learn about it. But anyway, here we are back on to the final sprue now, and you can see there's a few components. They look quite similar, so there'll be a few spares there as well. So certainly lots of nice little pieces to add to the bits box. Alright, there we go. So we've gone through all the contents, we've looked at the sprues, we've seen all the cards, gone through the book. Now it's time to get the tank built, and then you can have a real close-up look and see exactly what it looks like when it's assembled. There you go, that's the A12 Matilda 2 infantry tank, all assembled and ready for battle. And I've got to say, this looks great. A tiny little tank though, very much smaller than I imagined it would be, but it does look cool. It's got a lot of character, and I think this is going to be a great addition to the Gentleman's War set. Here you can see the turret comes off, might magnetise that, might be a good idea just to help it stay on a little bit more. But the one good thing is the turret can move up and down, you don't have to glue it in place, and it's pretty steady as well. That's not moving on its own, so that's really good. And you can see I've put the commander there in the top, and then also the driver poking his head out the front, and you just leave the hatch off if you wanted to do that. But you don't have to, you could have both the hatches down, and so it's all closed up and locked down. Let's grab a ruler then, and we can have a look at the size. So you're looking at about, what, 9.5 centimetres for the chassis, and then about 10.5 for the full length, and then the height from the bottom of the tracks right up to the top of the commander there, about 5.5, and then 4.5 centimetres across at the width. You'll get a few parts left on the sprues here. You can see there's a few components that were left over, so they're going to be great for the bits box. We can do something with that later on. And then we've got the running gear here, and you can see the difference is very small, very tiny difference, but the detail that they've gone to here to put those pieces in I think is really good. And there you can see there's one for each side, and then some spare track as well. Get rid of that one, and then on here you can see you've got that spare turret, so depending on the build we'll decide which turret you'll use. So you could assemble that and have that buried under some sand maybe as well. Here's that card up close again, and so it tells you again the points. And then I'm going to build mine, or I have built mine, with the howitzer. That's going to be the 3-inch light howitzer, and that replaces the anti-tank gun. So when you look at the weapon stats down the bottom, you'll be just using 2 of those. You'll be using the medium machine gun and the light howitzer, or the medium machine gun with the light anti-tank gun, depending on which one you'd like to build. I really had fun putting this model together, and I'm certainly looking forward to getting the Panzer IV out and unboxed and built as well, so you can have a real good look at that. So look out for that video coming very soon. But I hope you enjoyed this one, and it gave you a good idea about what's included in the box, and also what the model looks like when it's been fully assembled. I'll put a link to that unboxing video for Gentleman's War at the end of this one. You might also want to take a look at the Italian Alpine mountain troops, and the campaign book Italy Tough Gut, and I recently did an unboxing for Victory at Sea that you might want to see. That's a really great box. There's links to all this down below and more, and a huge thank you to you for clicking on all the links from my sponsors and supporters. It really helps me to keep going with these daily videos, supports these independent companies, and you also save up to 20% on all your hobby products, so thank you so much, I really appreciate that. Look out for more from my series with Raybot Games this week. Also some more videos from Moonstone on the way, and if you're into bank heists, check out these models from Anvil Industry, and if proper dwarves are your thing, then you might enjoy Torch and Shield, so lots to look forward to, and I've got a really busy week of painting ahead. But for now, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did like it, it'd be great if you hit the like button, subscribe for more videos like this one, and I look forward to seeing you here next time on Tabletop Skirmish Games. Thank you so much to my Patreon supporters for helping me to keep going with these regular videos. I couldn't do this without you, and I appreciate your support so much. If you'd like to join the Patreon community, support the channel, get some great perks at the same time, there's a link down below in the description. It'll be awesome to see you there.